how's it going? Yeah, it's been an exciting day here at the Beading Dreams. Let's see, there have been multiple injuries. Echo, crap on toast. There's our echo, Talifet says.
Well, at least we might be able to fix it tonight.
Well, I wonder if that's why there was an echo.
Oh, because it was all on my side?
I'm blaming Heather.
I'm with you.
There's still an echo. Yes, no, no, yes. Better. Awesome. Yes, it was all your fault, Heather. Cool beans. Okay. So anyway, welcome to Daisy Chain Necklace. Yeah, it's been an exciting day here at the that's why she won. Cause she had the power of the echo, Talifet. Sabotage. No, well, she was the one. I don't know that she just won because she's better. Really, that's what it is. But yeah, there were multiple injuries today at the Beading Dreams. Most of them were to me.
I didn't actually hurt myself. I just hurt.
Right?
Yeah,
Seriously. Yeah, let's see. And not all my injuries occurred even at work. I started getting injured even before I came to work. So it's been a very interesting day, but we all survived. We're here and no one's in the hospital yet. So we're going to go ahead and take that as a successful Saturday. We were also super busy today, which was amazing. It was like a pre-COVID Saturday, and good Lord, I forgot how much work that is. So even when I haven't completely busted myself up in 17 different ways. So yay! I'm glad there's a Talifet here. So I am actually going to sell things on the sale tonight as opposed to Wednesday when I just told stories. So the sale.
From New Orleans.
So yes, there will be no news correspondence from Maheta from New Orleans. We will be actually having an honest to goodness sale like this is what we do for a living. But first, we're going to do a tutorial. By we, I mean me, and it is going to be this one, Daisy Chain Necklace. So making these little flowers out of teardrops is actually something that I really enjoy doing. It's a really fun technique, and you can do a whole lot of things with them. So let's see. Oh, that's a VV, not light at all. Let's see. Wow, it's like candlelight stream. Bear with me while I fix that. And I'll. For what? No, all the lights are on. The camera just decided that it was going to be a candlelight stream. You didn't do anything.
I didn't break it this time?
No, it's the hand cam. You didn't touch it. Oh, haha. But though I am already getting Talifet with the moonstone flash. Right? Exactly. Wine and soft music. I mean, you can definitely go get yourself a glass of wine and turn on some Michael Bublé. I'm not going to stop you. But I would like, for purposes of this tutorial, I would like this to be a little bit less soft lit. Okay. So basically the idea behind these is they are made out of top drilled teardrops. It's something that you can do with top drilled teardrops that doesn't involve having to do an actual wire wrap on them. And the way that I've got them secured on this chain is literally the chain just runs through the back of them. So other cool applications for these little flower guys, they would make fabulous earrings. Like you could, okay, well that one's maybe a little bit too wonky to be an earring. But anyway, they would make great earrings. They make really fun rings. I think I have done that as a ring before. Or in this case, I had just had them strung on this chain to make a necklace. Now it does bear mentioning, if you're going to do these for a necklace and do them the way that I have them, where it's just strung through the back, you are going to have to kind of adjust them and make sure when you put your necklace on that they're all facing forward, because since they're not really secured, they do tend to kind of rotate around like so. But as long as you do that, they actually wear really nicely on a chain like this. Ta-da! So let's talk tools and supplies for this evening's tutorial. Okay, you are going to need some teardrop beads, and you're going to need about 5 per flower. So for a 3-flower necklace like I'm doing, you're going to need 15. So I have moonstone on my sample. I'm going to go ahead and use labradorite for the one I'm doing tonight. You're also going to need 3 center drilled beads. Those are going to be the centers of your flowers. That's these guys right there. And so I'm gonna just stick with my sample formula. I'm gonna use some pearls for that. You're going to need some 26 gauge wire. I've got gold filled 26 gauge here. You could use sterling silver, brass, bronze, copper. There's no soldering involved in this particular class, so it really doesn't matter what kind of wire you use. You can use whatever you have on hand. And then if you are gonna make this into a necklace, you are gonna need some chain and a clasp. As far as tools go, you're going to need your basic wire wrapping setup. So that is going to be your chain nose pliers, your round nose pliers, and of course a wire cutter. And then you're also going to need some kind of a pokey device to just kind of poke through the back and make a little space for your chain. So an awl or a small mandrel like this one is going to work great for you. And as far as tools go, that's really all that you need. It's not a very tool heavy tutorial at all. It's a great travel project because you don't need a ton of beads, you don't need a ton of tools. All you really need is once again your beads, your wire, and your pliers. So I'm going to start by picking out my beads. Okay, so I need 5 beads. They're winking at you, Tallyfet. I need 5 beads per flower, and I want to try and make them approximately the same size, which anybody who's ever tried to match beads from a strand of teardrops for earrings knows that that's not actually as easy as it sounds, because even though it looks like the teardrops are all the same size on the strand, once you get them all next to each other, they're really not. And you don't necessarily have to, that one's too long, you don't necessarily have to match the size of all. I know she would. I might put them on the sale just to torment her, since she does not appear to be present. Corvus.
Remember she has guests.
Oh, I don't remember she has guests, but now I do.
You now remember she has guests?
I now remember she has guests. Yes. So apparently Corvus did not decide to treat her guests to a viewing of our stream. I have no idea what's wrong with her. I mean, we're obviously the most interesting thing
She might have already heard the news.
on the internet. She might have already heard the news. Yeah, but we were broadcasting completely made up news. Which, to be fair, she might have heard that too. Okay, so anyway, so you don't need to match, obviously, you don't need 15 matching drops.
From Mexico, so they may not be really into it.
But you do want to kind of match in each set of 5. You want them to be matching. Yes, I will have to take a photo and post it on Discord. Lori is not wrong. Though I still have Jenny's beautifully curated trays that I'm actually going to, sell tonight on the sale instead of the lunacy that happened on Wednesday. I'm a little bit more focused tonight. I've started caffeinating already. And yeah, sorry, that was just me and my knee injury. So I got 3 sets of 5 drops. So now I'm going to grab my 26 gauge wire and I'm going to cut myself a decent sized piece of this, probably about 24 to 30 inches. When you're making these flowers, you're going to use more wire than you think, just because there's a lot of kind of wrapping and binding involved, but they go together pretty quickly, which is nice. So I'm going to take my my 26 gauge wire, and I'm going to grab one of my groups of 5 drops, and I'm going to string all 5 of those drops on to my wire. So, 1, 2. Alright, so all those other 3, 4, and one more is 5. There's going to be 5. So here's a little trick. If you are trying, hey, look at that, it says hi. If you're trying to put wire through a bead and you're finding that the bead has a bit of a small hole or a crooked hole and you're pushing it and it's not going through, grab a pliers and gently try and pull it, and you will oftentimes get much better results with pulling than you do with pushing. And when you're working with teardrops, you do want to stick with 26 gauge wire or 28 gauge wire. 24, especially for a project like this, it's going to really stress the teardrops, the tops of them, and you're going to wind up breaking a lot more beads than you probably want to. So 26 or 28 are going to be your sizes of wire. So I'm going to take my wire, I'm going to bring it around so that I have a circle of wire with my 5 teardrops on it, like so, and then I'm just going to take that and spin. So I'm twisting essentially the 2 ends of my wire together. Now at this point, I'm going to have to decide what is the top and what is the bottom of my flower. So with a stone like labradorite or moonstone, it actually does make a difference. You know, I'm going to pick which side has the prettiest flash, which is actually these here. So that's going to be my top. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this wire. So I have my 2 wires that I have twisted together, and as long as I've got about 2 or 3 twists on there, which I do, I can get rid of this shorter piece of wire. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to wrap my longer piece of wire so that I'm stabilizing my flower, because you'll notice that right now, you know, my petals of my flower are all just kind of wonky and flapping around. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to stabilize this now using our 26 gauge wire. So there's my twist. So I'm going to start by bringing that twist underneath whichever drop it's next to. Okay, so it was here, so it's under here, and my pattern is going to be this. I'm going to go under 2 drops and then back over top of 1 and then under 2. So 2 meaning the one that I just went over the top of, and then the one next to it. So under 2 over 1, under 2 over 1, under 2. So once again, I'm counting to 1, 2. So the one I go over, I then go under that one and the next one. So under 2 over 1. Okay, so once you've got one round done, it should look like this on the top, and it should look like that on the bottom. So on the bottom, you're kind of making a 5-pointed star shape, and on the top, you're creating these stabilizing wire wraps over the top of your drops. So now we're going to do this again. So under 2 over 1, under 2 over 1, and we're just going to go around about 3 or 4 times. And if you forget where you are, you can always count the number of wraps that you have on each bead, and that'll tell you. Because like I've got 3 here, so I know I just did that one, but this one's only got 2, so I know that's my next one. And I think I'm going to go one more time around. Okay, so once I've got my last one, so now I've got the same number of wraps, I got 4 on each of my beads. I'm going to take this wire up through the center of my little flower. So right up through the middle, and I'm going to pull it, and you want to go ahead and pull it nice and tight. You don't want to snap your wire, but you don't want, you know, a big piece of wire sort of just hanging out back there. And then I'm going to put my pearl in the middle. So I'm going to grab a pearl and put that onto my wire. And then what I want to make sure I do is I want to make sure that I lay this pearl down right in the center. I also want to make sure, is that pearl too big? Oh, that pearl's a little big. Holy cow. Yeah, today was just, it was nuts. It was literally, I mean, completely nuts. It was like the pre-pandemic days, which is great. Like, I'm not complaining, but unfortunately, well, first of all, we're out of practice. Second of all, there was like a whole bunch of unfortunate crap that happened today that had nothing to do with us being busy, but had to do with me being clumsy, among other things. So it was just one of those crazy days where it's like everything that could go wrong went wrong. It was definitely a Murphy's Law kind of day. And also 23 transactions, which is a lot for us. I mean, if you figure there are 4 of us on staff, so you know, that's an average of over 5 transactions per person. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm not even going to try and do that math. It was a lot. It was a lot of stuff today. Now we're going to go back to making flowers. Almost 6 transactions per person, and lots of running around, and then me trying to run around with an ice pack on my knee, which did not work at all. So finally I just gave up on the ice pack. Well, it's got Velcro strappies, so I thought it would work. It didn't work. Okay, so I've decided I like this pearl better. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my wire now down through the same hole that it came up through. And what's going to happen is when I pull on this, it's going to just pop my pearl, or center drill bead of your choice. Doesn't have to be a pearl, obviously, right in the middle of my flower. And then I can just finish this off by tying it up around the back here. So you're just going to go underneath. Maybe. Pliers are helpful. So yeah, just go underneath and then pull it through. Really? This would all be a whole lot easier if I utilized my pokey thing to just make a little spot right here where I can tie it off instead of just randomly stabbing away with my wire, which obviously isn't working for me. There we go. So just underneath and around. And you do want to make sure you do that a couple, 3 times, because just once isn't really going to hold it. And what you're going to find is that it's going to kind of weasel its way out, and it's going to stab you, and that's no fun. 2 and 1 more is 3. There we go. And I'm going to trim. And then I do have a bit of a pokey stabby there, so I'm going to go ahead and press that down. So there we go. There's 1 flower. Once again, this could be a really fun ring. It can be an earring. We're going to make 2 more, and we're going to make them into a necklace. I don't know why I just decided I needed to separate those syllables, but apparently I did. So I'm going to cut myself another piece of 26 gauge wire, and we're going to do this one a little bit faster since I already talked y'all through it once. So starting with, and there is, since this is something that has a top and a bottom, there is definitely something to be said for looking, if you've got a stone like labradorite, where you know it's going to have a pretty side and a less pretty side, and putting all of the pretty sides up. If you have skinnier teardrops, could you make a 7 or a 9B? Of course you could, absolutely. And you could do that with the fatter teardrops as well. It just means, so the more teardrops of any particular size that you put onto a flower, the bigger this part in the center gets, the bigger the hole gets. So if you're making a big flower, you may need to put several beads in the center. And I actually used to do this class where I would actually make little wire wrapped bits, and then I would string them across the center. So that's really your only limitation, is knowing that as you increase the circumference of that circle, the hole on the inside is going to get bigger as well, and you just need to, you know, in order to make your piece actually look like a flower, you need to find some way to plug that up. So there we go. And okay, so I've got all 5 of my drops on there, so now I'm going to bring this around, and it's easier to twist it if you cross it first. I think I did that last time, but I didn't necessarily say it. You do want to make sure that everything's as tight together as possible, and then we're going to twist. And again, a couple 3 twists is really all you need. And then you can get rid of the short one. Decide what's the top, which I think this is the top, because there's that couple pretty little winky stones going on there. And then we're gonna start our wrapping. So that's under 2 over 1, under 2 over 1, etc. And the under 2 over 1 sounds complicated when you say it, but once you get used to doing it, it really isn't. It's really pretty logical, as far as like you're gonna notice that this all of a sudden is way less floppy than it was before. So it's one of those things where it seems weird, but once you do it a couple times, it's really not. And so like I said, 3 or 4 times around. I tend to like 4 just because I don't really like my flowers to be floppy, so that should be plenty to stabilize it. And then up through the middle, and try if you can to get it like right straight through the center. And then put on a pearl. There are like 17 different kinds of pearls in the store, so I'm trying to find one that looks similar to the one I put on my other flower. And just go ahead and string that on your wire. Once again, if you're having trouble getting it through, grab it and pull, and then go straight down. And you just want to pull that all the way down. You want that pearl to kind of pop into the middle, and then we're going to tie that off once again on the back. So again, when you're not explaining it, it goes a lot faster. And you want to wrap around a couple 3 times in the back, trim, and then if you have a pokey stabby bit, we're going to go ahead and press that down. So this is flower 2 of 3. Trim, press down, ta-da. All right, last one. So one more piece of wire. And again, these pieces are roughly 24 inches. I'm obviously not measuring them, as you can see by the fact that I have no ruler in front of me. I mean, I have one, I'm just not using it. But 2-ish feet. I mean, it's a little overly generous. You could probably get away with 18 inches if you were trying to conserve wire. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead, and this is my last flower, so I'm gonna string all these on there. The other thing I was just thinking these would be really pretty on were bobby pins as like little hair decorations. This is also a good project, though you do have to be a little bit careful, but if you've got teardrops that are drilled kind of wacky, like see how the hole in that one's not going straight, it's definitely on a diagonal, that can be problematic when you're trying to do a basic top jeweled wire wrap and use that bead on a necklace or an earring, because sometimes the wonkiness of the hole results in your piece, your drop just won't hang right, and it, you know, keeps tipping forward or doing weird stuff. So this is actually a really good project for beads that are drilled not particularly great. However, you do need to be careful because sometimes the beads that have those wacky holes are also extra fragile at the top. So as long as you can make it through the wrapping part without breaking your beads, then it's a good project. That being said, this is not a good project for fragile beads like apatite and tanzanite. Those are two that are notorious for snapping off at the tips, and this does put a little bit of extra stress at the tips of the beads, so stay away from apatite, tanzanite, opals. All of those are going to be a little bit more prone to breakage than you want for this project, but any of your harder stones like labradorite, quartz, any of your quartzes, amethyst, citrine, you know, onyx, spinel, like all those things are great for this project. Okay, so I've wrapped this around and I'm twisting it. And now that I have twisted it, and if I have, so see here that there's a little bit of space here, there's more space there than I really want. What I can do is I can actually grab my twist with my chain nose and I can twist the flower part and see how that snugs that up. It's a really good little fix if you just need to get rid of a little bit of space in there. I'm going to go ahead and trim, and then we're going to go under 2 over 1 4 times around. So we have a live sale tonight. It is it's Saturday, so that means we have a live merchandise sale that's going to be starting around 7:45. I still have Jenny's beautifully curated trays. I also have a few more of my wits about me today, so we are going to go through all of these beautiful trays that Jenny put together on the sale tonight. This is going to be some stone, some glass, some metal, some really pretty things. And again, that's going to start around 7:45. Next week, we have some fun classes for you as well. Don't forget, we are on this channel, twitch.tv/beadingdream, which all 6 of you probably know this, but 5 times a week, so Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday at 6 p.m., plus Thursdays at noon. We've got a leather cuff project for you. Next week, we have a pronged set wire wrapped gemstone. We have another gemstone setting in sheet metal, so lots of cool stuff for y'all next week. Okay, so I've done my stabilizing wraps. I'm up through the center, and last pearl, and found one that kind of looks like the other ones. Alright, like so, and then right down through the center. And then wrap it off on the back. So there's one. And there's 2. Maybe. Go on. There we go. There's 2, and we're going to do one more for good measure, so we're going to have 3 wraps. Awesome. So there we go. 1, 2, 3, wrapped off and trim. And press it down. So that's our 3. That's our 3 flowers. So if I'm going to go ahead and string these on a chain like I have done with my sample, what I'm going to do is, alright, figure out which way do I want each one to go, because once again with the Stone Lake Labradorite you want to make sure that your flashiest side is up. And then I'm just going to take my mandrel and I'm going to go across and underneath all of my wires. And this is another point where you've got to be careful not to break your stones. And I will say, if you have it all that's pointy, it's going to be a little bit better of a tool for this than my mandrel, which is blunt. Let's see if my centering punch will work better. Because you just need something to like fish underneath all of those wires. There we go. Okay, so that's basically the pathway that I'm going to thread my chain through. So, grab chain. And then, once again, your chain just is going to follow the path that you made with your awl. And there we go. So essentially your flower at this point has become a bead or a component that you can string onto your chain. So if we wanted to do like my sample, I would just put 3 of these on here and put a clasp on. If you wanted to make this into an earring, you would probably go this way, but you could actually, and I had a thought of doing that on this. I just decided I wanted to do a necklace instead, but you could actually put a bead hanging from the end of that and thread that on there and then put an ear wire at the top, and that would be a really pretty earring. Or again, if you wanted to do a ring, you could literally just take now a piece of 16 gauge wire to make a band, thread it through there, wrap it around and have yourself a cute little adjustable flower ring there as well. So if I am gonna, once again, if I am gonna continue on making it a necklace, I'm just gonna take that all and I'm gonna make that space in all of them, all 3 of my flowers. And see, this is what I mean. You gotta be careful. I just busted that one. So at this point, considering how today is going, I am going to cut my losses and say, first of all, probably use a smaller awl than this, but yeah, if you wanted to do a necklace, take a thinner awl, make that space, put your chain through, put a clasp on, and there you go. I now have one sad little 4-petal flower, so I'm at some point going to have to take that apart and remake it. But that's the basics of how to make your little flowers, and then one way that you can use them by putting them on a necklace. So thank you all so much for hanging out with me on my tutorial stream for this Saturday evening for our daisy chain necklace, or specifically just our daisy flower pieces that we made. You could also put them on studs. They'd be really fun stud earrings, and then you wouldn't have to worry about them tipping forward either. Flowers.
I love.
And
Hi, people. Hello.
I was gonna say there's a heather sneaking onto the, and then this is the sad one that I broke.
Oh. It's more of a
Right, exactly. It's like a tiny little crown. So yeah, all right. So thanks everyone for hanging out on the Saturday evening live tutorial stream. We'll be back on this channel, twitch.tv/Beading Dream, in just 30 minutes with the live merchandise sale with our beautifully curated trays that Jenny put together for us on Wednesday. If you're not going to join us for the sale, thanks for joining us for the tutorial. Don't forget, we're on this channel, twitch.tv/Beading Dream, 5 times a week. That's every Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday at 6 p.m. Central Time plus. Thursdays at noon, and live merchandise sales every Wednesday and every Saturday at 7:30 p.m. So it is time for me, thanks Lori, to refresh my ice pack and get ready for the sale. So everyone, excuse me, don't inhale your own spit. Doesn't work well.
Oh, but it's so delicious.
We'll see y'all back on this channel, twitch.tv/beadingdream for the sale in 30. Bye, y'all.